Hello there my fellow holotable heroes and welcome to another Galactic challenge video. Hopefully your weekends be going well. Today it's another one of those challenges, you either have them or you don't, because it's Tuskens and we only have 5 of them, right? So as always I'll cover the modifiers and the feats and then show you the battles, so there'll be YouTube chapters below if you do want to skip ahead to any particular thing. Otherwise today we do have Sortie and we all know what Sortie does in Galactic challenges, right? Her AoE just wipes out like your entire team sometimes. To make matters worse, they've got BB-8 on their side, feeding 40% meter to the entire droid lineup, so they will go first no matter how fast you are. Well, I guess Galactic Legends could outrun them, but everything else, yeah, it's gonna be a rough start, so you gotta be ready for it. Now in terms of the feats, we have to win a full Tusken team and complete the battle after gaining momentum 150 times and then gain offense up 20 times. So yeah, momentum again, it's a tricky one. Like if you don't have Tuskens, you can get something done, as I'll show you with old Boba, but otherwise, yeah, it might be a rough one today if you don't have a Tusken team built up. Now in terms of the modifiers, Bespin, everybody's accuracy is reduced by 15%, so there's going to be a whole lot more dodging than normally, right? So have to unfortunately work with that. And then in terms of the modifiers, so for the Tusken modifier, it's a very powerful modifier, it does a lot of things, but most importantly, the weakest enemy, so that's the enemy with lowest combined health and protection, will get ambushed on them, and then Tuskens can ignore the taunt to target ambushed enemy, and whenever they deal damage to ambushed enemy, they all gain a stack of momentum, 2 stacks of momentum actually. So that's where momentum is coming from. So if you have Tuskens, you don't have to worry about momentum, it'll just happen by itself. Then droid modifier, it's a bit of a weak one, but it's not like they need any modifiers, right? These guys are already quite tough. Alright, so let's first show you the footage from our main account, where I do have all the Tuskens, and we'll do afterwards battles from my smaller account. So if you do have a solid Tusken squad, my guys are Relic 5, however they have trash mods on them, so there is definitely room for improvements. You can see, barely made it out alive with trash mods, so I guess if you do have more good mods on them, and they're Relic up, you should be able to take that AoE, I hope, from Sortie, and then you just hit full auto, basically, nothing else you can do here. Just make sure that if the target moves away from whoever's got ambushed on them, just keep moving target back onto the ambushed enemy. That's the whole thing. And then Sortie, yeah, with her protection up, she's a bit annoying, but eventually Warrior will get through her with some big hits. So that's why it's a full auto battle, because otherwise, Anyway, Tusken's kit is very straightforward and very simple, to be honest. I guess if you would manually play it, seems like Tusken Shaman is not using its heal ability because everybody's at full health. That heal ability grants offense up to your guys, so potentially as well I think Tuskens themselves could get offense up feat done, so you could get all the feats done in a single battle. However or not, I wasn't able to do it, so instead I'll do offense up with another auto team. Gonna throw in Kenobi in there and Cat for some quick insta kills. Then we got Shakti and then Jana Tanakin for offense up, and then Yoda spreads offense up amongst the team again. So that's where offense up will come from those 3 units, and just hit full auto and it will just take care of itself, the offense up fit. There we go, just over a minute offense up fit done. Alright, so that was the footage from main account. Obviously, if you do have a solid roster, pretty straightforward, you can full auto for all the feats. And then let's hop over to my smaller account now. Here, the best I could do with my Tuskens here was tier 6. As you can see, kind of gear 10, 11, gear 12, 1 relic, that's from Jabba Farm, right? Even at tier 7, I just got wiped. So tier 6 is the best I could do with this, guys. And same thing as we did on tier 10 with my main account, gonna hit full auto and just make sure the target is all the time over and whoever's got ambushed on them, so that you can keep getting momentum and keep getting bonuses. And eventually, same as on tier 10, we do get here through Sortie with some big hits there we go, from Warrior. So that's tier 6, which means in this account, still on tier 10, I have to take care of offense up and momentum. So first let's do the offense up. So I had a go with the Veers Troopers, but there was just so much dodging that I wasn't able to keep the thermometer train going eventually because of all the dodging, right? The enemies start taking turns. So that's what we'll work with. Bringing in Han so we can start stun sortie, right? So she does nuke your squad. There we go. Alright, I think we should be good now. Let's go ahead, get the ball rolling. Get some stuns, get increased cooldowns. Let's go ahead and sure, drop isolate there on BB-8, and then we'll just kind of, you know, keep everybody stun locked for the most part, and let Palps do his thing, because Palps, whenever he uses his AoE, he stuns everybody but also grants everybody offense up. So you just need to last kind of, you know, stall long enough that Palps gets 4 of his AoEs out, which shouldn't be too difficult. He's getting a bunch of bonus turn meter. Treya reduces his cooldowns as well. Whenever she uses isolated, make sure to target Palps, and that's basically it. I mean, Mara as well, you know, constant dodging, but here we go. Get another turn. There we go, stun lock them. So I think that was my 3rd AoE already. So it doesn't look like it's actually even too difficult. You don't have to stall too hard. You just kind of go about your business, start taking down. The reason why I brought in Nihilus, because I wasn't sure whether we'd be able to burn through sortie, but I don't think I needed in the end Annihilate from Nihilus. So you could potentially bring in somebody else instead of Nihilus in there. But definitely Palp, Mara, Han are kind of good there that you get start rolling. And as you can see, we did get ability blocked at the start, so that's where Treya helps a little bit with dispelling, right? Debuffs on stiff allies whenever they take a turn. Or, you know, you could bring in Watt, put as well tank tech on Emperor Palpatine. He could also dispel ability block that way. So many ways to do this. Core really is Han, stunning sortie so she doesn't nuke your squad, and then Palp Mara thermometer train just takes over from there on out. So that took care of the offense subfeed, and now it's time for momentum. So I do have gear 12 old boba in this one, so that's what I'll be going in with. So this is like Conquest, geez, almost, right? Where you go in with Jedi Luke lead and you remove all mods from him so that his speed is then 112. And then with his leadership, as soon as he takes a turn in the battle, he will reduce the speed of the enemies to his base speed, which in this case is 112. So that's how we'll be able to then start running circles around it. But there's more. Obviously, look, he's got a mass stun, so that'll as well help us with the control of the enemy so we don't get nuked. And then his middle special is very useful also in this one. You can land blind on sortie, so if in case sortie does get away from you, that she does get a turn out there, if she's blinded, she won't be able to nuke your squad with her AoE once she takes a turn. And also you can call here somebody to assist, which is nice as well sometimes. And then his basic dispels buffs. This will be very important so we can get around the taunt, so we can always fracture sortie. So definitely Luke is fully equipped for this challenge. He's got everything you need more or less. Then of course we got Thrawn here. He's mainly here for the fracture, so we can keep sortie under control, and also that we can actually in the end take down sortie, because anytime we hit her right, she's gaining protection up, so you won't be really able to take her down. But one way obviously to stop that is fracture. It will stop, she won't be able to gain protection up anymore, and then you'll be able to in the end get her down. Obviously thermometer swap is nice, keep passing turnover to Luke so Luke can keep stunning them and things like that. And also top up protection in case somebody needs it. So, you know, Thrawn, very good. But let's not forget about Thrawn's basic in this one, because on his basic, when he hits the enemy gains speed up, and when that speed up expires, it turns into ability block. And then when Thrawn uses basic on somebody, it's ability blocked, they get stunned, which can't be resisted. So the way you can play this is very like funny, right? Thrawn does his basic, sortie gets speed up, and then Luke dispels it, that's speed up with his basic, and now sortie's ability block again. One way of controlling her when she's not stunned, as well with ability blocks, and also Thrawn stunning on his basic. So plenty ways to control this team. Bringing in Watt for his tech, obviously But one way of also taking Sortie down, if you can't get her with, you know, raw damage, whenever she's fractured and she's got, you know, no protection, or you just take a lot of damage over times on her, and when she's fractured you can use this ability that will trigger damage over times, which would also then defeat Sortie. So a couple of ways we can actually take Sortie down with this particular lineup. Then of course, star of the show, we need old Boba here. So in his unique, you will need to have it to level 7. I don't know if this is 8 or an Omega, just something I wanted to highlight, because with this here, with level 7, whenever Boba scores a critical hit, he gains momentum. So that's where the momentum feat will be coming from Boba doing crits. So yeah, Boba, key player here, but let's not forget about Han, right? He will go first, same as we did in previous battle, stun Sortie so she can't nuke your squad. He himself's got a stun as well, another way to control. And then also remember, everybody's accuracy is reduced by 15%. Han also gives evasion up, so that's essentially like 40% evasion with that. So it'll also a little bit help in case, again, enemy does get a few attacks out that you can keep dodging a lot. Alright, so first things first, we have to stun Sortie. Weapon tech important on Luke, so he gets a turn before Sortie gets another turn, so he can actually stun everybody. There we go. Okay, everybody survived. Let's go. Let's get a stun out first. Good, and let's go ahead and pass turn over to Luke now. We're gonna go ahead and use Heroes Arise, so he calls himself to assist. Dispelling Taunt over on BB-8, then we can call Boba to assist. Let's go ahead and put Tank Tech over on Thrawn. Let's go ahead, evasion up, and we can now go ahead, start gaining stacks of momentum. I believe we got what, 9 there or something. And of course, let's go ahead, drop a fracture over on Sortie, and then Med Pack goes over on Boba. So that's how I kind of divided the attack. Dodge, okay. You have to be a little bit careful, at least for me, my Boba is gear 12, so I have to be careful for the counterattacks from BB-8. So unless BB-8 was stunned or had foresight, I was not using AoEs from Boba, because then counterattacks from BB-8 could mess you up. That's why here just did basic, because I didn't want to take counterattack from BB-8. Let's go ahead and pass turn over to Luke again. Another stun coming in. So you can see we have this thing under control. Drop a fracture on Sortie, and it's basically rinse and repeat from here on out, to be honest. Kind of did take IG out a little bit, because his AoEs can be as well, you know, especially versus gear 12 Boba, could be annoying. And just speeding up the footage because there's nothing else to say here. As you can see, we got so much control between, you know, 3 units that can stun, we got fractures, we got ability blocks. Yeah, just run the clock down basically, keep hitting Sortie so everybody's kind of alive, right? We need to stall this battle, because without feed tracker, you have no idea, right, where you are at. First battle I did, I was kind of stalling for like 9 minutes, and it wasn't enough. So this time I ran the second attempt, I ran the clock all the way down. Now, one thing I did change here, once I just got it down to Sortie and Trip, I did not fracture Sortie anymore, because I noticed if I fractured her I'm not sure I would be able to stall this out for 15 minutes, because eventually she's constantly fractured, not gaining protection up anymore, and eventually you do start obviously doing damage on her. And again, without feed tracker, it's like, what am I doing here, right? So again, no fractures here on out. Here we can obviously then utilize the basic from Thrawn, landing speed up, and then Luke on his basic dispels speed up, Sortie gains ability block, and then Thrawn can stun her once she's ability blocked. So that's how then I was able to control them for the rest of the battle without fracture. As well, landing blind on her in case she does get away from us, right, and she's not ability blocked, you will then at least evade her devastating AoE. And here just kept running the clock down, and I think about 3-minute mark or so, I'm like, all right, I don't know how long I'll need to take them down. So then I started reapplying fracture again and got Sortie down. I think it took still a couple of minutes to get her down. Let's go ahead, drop a fracture. There we go, and now she can't gain protection up whenever we deal damage to her. And then eventually you do get her down. I said one way of doing it, whenever like, you know, she's got more than 20 damage over times like she had and fractured, you could use what special, but I didn't. I wanted to stall all the way. After nearly 15 minutes of manually playing this, was able to cheese out the momentum feat as well. And there you go, guys, that's all for today's challenge. Hopefully you found it useful and helpful. Let me know in the comments how you guys are getting on, but until then, have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.